Ho 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 everyone, and welcome back to the Gas Spot. This is our second episode of Ranked. If you haven't seen the first episode, it'll be in the link in the description. Top 10 best Batman movies. Check it out. I have to say it's one of the best videos that we've made so far. Now, according to the title, you know, we are ranking the best Christmas specials. We're going by top 10, and we'll have top 5 worst around the end. If you want to see the next ranked video, or any other videos on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn off the notification bell for any new updates and new videos, or maybe even live streams that'll be coming up in the next couple weeks. Well, everyone's stomachs are full from Thanksgiving and leftover Halloween candy, but you know what that means.
It's
That's right, it's Christmas time once again. Whether being about the birth of Christ, or the fat guy that runs around the world and gives people presents, Christmas has definitely become my favorite holiday. Over the years it tends to switch between Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, but now I'm pretty sure that Christmas is definitely my number one. Yeah, that's right. I'm the guy who plays Christmas music in June, and you guys can't stop me. Along with the songs, trees, food, and presents, Christmas also has another very significant part. The Christmas specials. And I'm sure we've all seen at least these, and one of these, and, well, all of them. I think we all know that, you know, Christmas specials are sometimes extremely lit, or extremely cringe. So with the introduction of Christmas specials now out of the way, I wanted to do my top 10 Christmas specials ever. Don't worry, at the end when we introduce the honorable mentions, but things that just didn't make the cut for specific reasons, we'll have the top 5 worst. And you know what, it's actually a lot worse than you think. But let's get started with number 10. Number 10, a claymation Christmas celebration from 1987. Directed by Will Vinton, a small town filled with a lot of stop-motion characters as they get ready for the Christmas season, including the California Raisins and this orange dinosaur guy, also this Triceratops. Though the characters are bright and colorful, and it's definitely great for little kids, I just found it kind of annoying to watch as I got older. And even when as a kid, I found it kind of nauseating. I just wanted to turn it off. However, as I got older, I do realize I have matured with the jokes, especially the orange dinosaur. I just found him so entertaining, especially now. I used to find him really kind of annoying, and I liked the blue Triceratops as a kid. And the California Raisins section is definitely my favorite, which is why I mentioned them earlier. However, stop motion is definitely one of my favorite animation styles. I've been doing it so much since I was a kid, so finding Claymation Christmas was definitely very entertaining, and I still watch it to this day. The main reason why it's so low on the list is because it's just kind of boring at this point. Though of course this is more geared for children, just like most Christmas specials. But let's continue to the next one on our list.
Now here's one we both agree on.
The Year Without Santa Claus. Now, the Rankin Bass Christmas specials are going to take up a good amount of this list, just because those are the ones that were my favorite, again being stop motion. So the plot basically goes like this. A sick Santa doesn't want to do Christmas this year, mainly because of the lack of Christmas spirit, and because of course he's sick. However, this doesn't stop the fact that Christmas is coming, and that all the children are going to be disappointed because Santa Claus isn't going to deliver presents. So, Mrs. Claus and 2 elves go round up 2 other Christmas idols that no one really actually knows about, Snow Miser and Heat Miser. They're both brothers that don't get along, mainly because Snow Miser is, well, cold Christmases that are filled with snow and lots of fun, and Heat Miser is the warm Christmas and, you know, no snow and no fun at all in my opinion. Of course, these two being polar opposites have to learn to put aside their differences for the sake of the children and of course the spirit of Christmas. Now this special is in no means bad. In fact, it's pretty entertaining. Way more entertaining than Claymation Christmas and a few others that are going to be on the honorable mentions and the top 5 worst. The reason why it's still so low on our list, you ask? Well, because Christmas specials by Rankin Bass have so much more to offer. As you'll see going in later on this list, you'll find out why I like other Rankin Bass Christmas specials, as well as a few others that aren't Rankin Bass related. Sorry, Snow Miser and Heat Miser, you're number 9 on this list.
I'm Mr. White Christmas, I'm high on crack.
Let's continue to our next Christmas special though. Number 8, A Garfield Christmas. Now, considering that he's a cartoon icon, I'd expect him to be higher on this list, but to be honest, I don't like Garfield. A lot of his comedy has definitely just been done better in so many other places that I've seen, like Tom and Jerry, the Foghorn Leghorn cartoons, and Scooby-Doo. I just don't see the appeal of the character. I get he hates Mondays and is a lazy cat that likes to eat a lot of food, but there are so many other characters in media that just portray that better. However, his Christmas special is definitely one of the best Garfield content I've seen in years. The musical numbers, the new characters that we introduced with John's family, and actually Garfield himself. Usually I find the cat to just be kind of lowbrow and kind of annoying, but in this special I actually find it to be very entertaining how he feels. As for the plot, it's pretty sturdy. It just seems to be like a standard Christmas for John and Garfield and Odie. As well as an amazing Christmas special this was, it also had a lot of heart. Between the jokes and the witty banter from Garfield, we also get a sad backstory from John's grandma. Seeing how much the loss of a loved one, in this case being her husband or John's grandfather, being deceased but loving the holiday, Garfield finds a letter from the grandfather and gives it to the grandmother. Though being out of character for the selfish cat that Garfield is, he does something that actually catches me off guard. I thought it was going to be another thrown away joke, but Garfield actually applies himself here emotionally. And I believe this is when Garfield understands the true meaning of Christmas, and also it makes me understand why it's actually higher on this list than both the Claymation Christmas and the story of Snow Miser and Heat Miser in the Year Without Santa Claus. Before moving on, good job Garfield. Merry Christmas.
Whoever invented Christmas trees should be drug out into the street and shot.
Number 7, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Alright, now we're getting into the good stuff. Santa Claus is Coming to Town was made in 1970 by Rankin Bass. This is 4 years before The Year Without Santa Claus. However, this Christmas special is actually about St. Nick himself. In fact, it's the origin story, well, one of the origin stories of Santa Claus. If you know anything about Rankin Bass, you already know they're coming in with the quirky animation, beautiful characters, simple designs in the face, but also amazing musical numbers. The reason why I love this Christmas special so much is because of the music, especially the first song, of course, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which through all the iterations, including the Jackson 5 version, this is still my favorite. Also, the main character being Santa Claus, he was definitely a lot of fun to watch. His charismatic nature being very contagious, and also showing hints at Rudolph throughout the special was also very fun. Sometimes the animation is a little cheap, but hey, it's back in the day, and also it was a stop motion company. They don't have a lot to work on, but hey, they did the best they could, and they did a pretty good job with writing this story to begin with. And you know what? That's why I like this special so much, because they put a lot of effort into Santa Claus's story, and also the animation isn't the best, but they did a lot of creative stuff, and the set pieces are awesome. Santa Claus is Coming to Town? You're one of the greats.
I like babies, Bingo.
Hey, well, what do you know? It's the Muppet Family Christmas! Yay! That's right, Kermit. Now shut up. Alright. Now, the Muppet Family Christmas starts off something like this. Kermit, Fozzie, Miss Piggy, Gonzo, and the rest of the Muppet gang all go to Fozzie's mother's farm and kind of ruining her winter plans. Though this thing won an Emmy, I love this Christmas special. It doesn't only just have Kermit, Gonzo, Miss Piggy, and the rest of the Muppets, it also brings in a lot of the Jim Henson Universe characters, like Big Bird, and even the Fraggles from Fraggle Rock. I was so surprised seeing them in this Christmas special that I couldn't help but get nostalgic. Of course, try not to be confused with the Muppet Christmas Carol, which actually isn't on this list just because I like the Muppet Family Christmas a lot more, and there's other Christmas Carol interpretations that I believe are better. Though this special brings a lot of amazing songs like We Need a Little Christmas, Jingle Bell Rock, Jingle Bells, Sleigh Ride, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Here We Come a Carolin', Deck the Halls, The Christmas Song, and Pass It On from Fraggle Rock, Home for the Holidays, Happy Holidays, Ding Dong Merrily on High, I Saw Three Ships, Good King Wenceslas, The Holly and the Ivy, I'll Be Home for Christmas, Happy Holidays are reprised, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, Caroling, Caroling, I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, It Is in Every One of Us, Together at Christmas, and of course, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. What an expansive Christmas song list they have. Probably one of the biggest Christmas special song lists that I've actually seen throughout this entire video. And you know, when the Muppets get to singing, they don't really stop for a long time. And it's also very entertaining with the gags and the backgrounds of the song. And you gotta love the Sesame Street characters being there, because they're all technically a part of the family Jim Henson created. And of course, I love the Muppets, Kermit of course being my favorite character. And it always feels magical wondering what your favorite cartoon characters are doing during the holidays just because they're kind of growing up with you. Great job, Muppets. You guys made it to number 6.
Son! Mom! Ah!
Number 5, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Also created by Rankin Bass in 1964, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer has been one of the longest-running Christmas specials of all time, running at least once a year since then, being the most played Christmas special in all history, which I find to be very astounding and a great accomplishment for the stop-motion company. The original story of Rudolph is actually from a book, coming from the copywriter at Montgomery Ward Department Store being tasked to write a Christmas story, which turned into a book. The book became a song, and the song spawned the Christmas special, which took over a whole year to create this special. And this special actually costed over $500,000. And the truth is, this special does not disappoint. There are so many amazing songs from this special that have to be almost as good as any of this list, if not better. Probably some of the best Christmas songs to date, ones that we all listen to every year. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, of course, Holly Jolly Christmas, Silver and Gold, and We're a Couple of Misfits. No matter how many times I watch this Christmas special, I happen to never get bored of it, and out of all the Rankin Bass Christmas specials, this is definitely my favorite. Not only does this special have that good old Christmas magic, but also has life lessons that kids can relate to. Last but not least, the animation and set pieces are just as good as Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Maybe not as crisp, of course being 10 years before that special even aired, it still holds up to this day, and I still consider it to be one of my favorite Christmas specials of all time. Now without further ado, let's go to number 4.
It's all for all and one for, one.
Number 4, A Disney's Christmas Carol. This is an adaptation of the Charles Dickens novel, though I do prefer this over any other version, besides probably Scrooge, but since that is a movie, it will not be on this list. Not only does this special introduce Scrooge McDuck, it makes him a household name, and even spawns series as like DuckTales and other Mickey Mouse shorts that feature this character. We all know the story of Scrooge, and how he is visited by 3 ghosts and now has to repent before he ends up being, well, the richest man in the cemetery. However, this portrayal of the story still is my favorite, mainly because it's characters that I already know very well, and these characters fit into these roles amazingly. Mickey being Scrooge's new apprentice and also having a loving family with Minnie is just something that I find to be very interesting, and Donald of course being his nephew like he is in the normal Disney timeline also is just a great touch. As well as seeing a return of a fan favorite Disney character being Jiminy Cricket as one of the ghosts, being the ghost of Christmas Past, as Scrooge goes back in time to see the love of his life, who is also for some reason Daisy. I don't really get that part. But other than that, I love this special. Of course, revealing the ghost of Christmas future is Pete was hilarious. Also seeing the fiery coffin that Scrooge falls into was awesome. Though the musical numbers aren't as great as Scrooge, the Christmas movie based off of The Christmas Carol, I'll let it go for it being just a Christmas special that appeared on TV. But the main reason why I put it so high on this list is mainly because of Scrooge McDuck. It has to be one of my favorite Disney characters ever. Very entertaining and witty, and also very adventurous as he's seen in the new DuckTales series and the old DuckTales from the 1980s. I also find it comical that Marley, the ghost that was sent to hell before Scrooge, his original partner, is freaking goofy. It was just ridiculous the way he just walks up the stairs and basically gets pummeled. Though it has its funny moments, I do realize that some of the scenes when I was a kid actually did scare me way more than they do now. When I saw that Tiny Tim, well Mickey's son in this case, was dead, my heart completely dropped and I was actually terrified of what was going to happen next, because I knew it was Scrooge's turn. Though I read The Christmas Carol and I also watched Scrooge, the movie I just talked about earlier, before I watched this, so I thought we were going to get a whole suffering scene with Scrooge McDuck. Luckily we didn't, and it just faded into black after Scrooge fell in and he woke up from his dream. So this is definitely more of a kid's movie than Scrooge and just reading the original book. Even though this came out in 1983, it has to be one of the best animated Christmas Disney stories. It even looks better than Mickey's A Christmas Story and that 3D Disney Christmas special that I kind of forgot the name of, and I don't really want to talk about it. Now let's move on to number 2 on our list.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me.
It sounds a bit bizarre, but things the way they are, I feel as if another life's begun for me.
Number 2, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. what is there left to say about this Christmas classic? Something that we all have listened to nonstop for years, the song being You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and of course replaying this Christmas special just because of the comedy and also how pure it actually is. There's been two other main adaptations of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the one with Jim Carrey and the Illumination film that came out a few years ago, but neither of them have surpassed the greatness and the quality of the original. From the music, the animation, and character development, this has to be one of the best Christmas redemption stories known to man. For those who don't know, the Grinch is just some mean guy that just hates Christmas and hates how loud it gets, and he just devises his whole entire plan to basically steal Christmas from the nearing town of Whoville. But after hearing the Who's sing, after even losing all the Christmas presents that he stole, he knew that he was in the wrong and had to change things back, leading to a high action paced scene with Grinch growing his heart another 2 sizes and being able to lift a giant sleigh filled with a town worth of presents. If there's any Christmas special that you need a suspension of disbelief for, it's definitely this one, regardless of talking ducks and red-nosed reindeer. Not only does Chuck Jones do an amazing job at directing and animating the way the Grinch looks and even his smiles and the way he slithers throughout the houses, his mannerisms are perfect for his character description in the books and in any other iteration. None of them have come close to beating what this was. Even other Dr. Seuss 2D animated film versions of the Grinch, I would have given this the number 1 spot if it wasn't for the Christmas special that's going to come up after these honorable mentions.
Got a wonderful, awful idea.
I'll steal it! No one will ever know!
Honorable mention number 1. The Flash, Season 1, Episode 9, The Man in the Yellow Suit. Now, I love The Flash. I've been watching it since its premiere in 2014, and I've tried my best to keep up with it, even if it's not as good as it used to be. Now, the reason why I chose this is because the Season 1, Episode 9, The Man in the Yellow Suit, is actually the Flash Christmas special, and it's the first time we see the Yellow Menace himself on screen, the Reverse Flash. I remember sitting around the TV and watching him for the first time as our Christmas tree was blazing with lights, and we were terrified of what this dude could do and what he did to Barry. And I just love the way speedsters fight, and this has to be my favorite speedster fight to this day. Not to mention this being the mid-season finale of the show, and gearing us up for the rest of the season as things continue to escalate between the Reverse Flash and Barry Allen, the main character. Every year I watch seasons 1 and go through the first 8 episodes, and around Christmas I'll watch episode 9 just to get a hint of nostalgia, and it still doesn't disappoint, it being one of the best Christmas specials that I've actually ever watched. But since you have to watch the first 8 episodes to know what's going on, I put it in honorable mentions, because not everyone's going to be a Flash fan, and I don't blame you.
It was me, Barry.
Honorable mention number 2. Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, The Simpsons. Now, if this was just one episode and it was just a Christmas special on its own, I would just put it on here, but it's more of a Christmas themed episode rather than it actually being a Christmas special. Of course, this is the first episode of The Simpsons, and still is actually one of my favorites, mainly because I love Christmas more than anything, and Homer's desperate plans to save Christmas after Mr. Burns cuts his bonus is very heartwarming and shows that there's a good heart in our main character,
Disney's
which is
Duck
Homer
Halls.
Simpson. However, you guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's just one of the recent Mickey Mouse Flash cartoons that came out with a Christmas special a couple years back. Because every year I have to say this is the funniest Christmas special I've ever watched, beating Seinfeld's The Strike, and even The Office Christmas Simpsons in their animation, but that's just my opinion. This Christmas special also focuses on Duck character, this one being Donald Duck, and him not wanting to hire later on for the winter because Christmas is coming and he wants to experience it. What about the Halloween? Christmas jingle from Mickey called Jing-a-ling-a-ling, which I still listen to in the car with my brother every year, and we still laugh about it just because Donald is slowly getting sicker and sicker because he was supposed to migrate to the south for the winter. And the way he just looks sick and his beak just keeps falling off, and how he just gets driven to insanity by the end of the Christmas special is just so hilarious. I love this Christmas special mainly because it made me laugh so hard. But the only reason why I didn't put it on the list is because I would find it to be repetitive to put 2 Disney Christmas specials on the list that both feature duck characters. So I decided to leave it out and put it in honorable mentions, as well as it's not very popular and not a lot of people know about it. But now that you do, I suggest you go check it out and add it to your list of Christmas specials, because it is such a great thing to watch. Now, let's quickly unveil the worst 5 Christmas specials that I've ever watched.
Christmas!
Number 1, It's a Cranberry Christmas. This was just god-awful, and the plot didn't make any sense. And even now, I still don't understand what the plot is. I rewatched it, and apparently it's just some old geezer that just wants to keep kids from skating on the ice. And for some reason, in order to save Christmas, they have to be able to play on the ice. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. If the guy doesn't want you to be on the ice, maybe you shouldn't be on it. Maybe somebody died. Who knows? Or whatever. They get what they want and then they win, and Christmas is saved over a stupid ice rink. It's not even a real ice rink. It's just like it's his property. What are you guys doing? I hate this special. This special is dumb. I'm never watching it again. It made me almost just stop liking Christmas entirely. That's how bad it was. Alright, let's move on to number 2. Number 2, All of the Other Reindeer. What is that? Okay, so it's a dog that wants to be a reindeer, so he travels a long way to become a reindeer, and it's just like terrible. It's just so boring. I tried watching it again. I turned it off at 10 minutes in. It's a 45-minute Christmas special. It's as long as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and it's as bad as Cranberry Christmas, if not worse. I will never watch this special again, and it was all over the place when I was younger, and I never saw the appeal then, and I don't see it now. So let's just move on so I don't have to think about it anymore. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Oh my god, this Christmas special was just so cringe. I could barely get through it. I just watched it the other day with a friend of mine, and it was so sickening. The animation stills are just terrible, the jokes are corny, and this main character thinks he's special because he likes Christmas so much. They also, for some reason, thought it was a good idea to make Santa Claus practically a kidnapper because, one, he hit this lady with his sleigh, and then he took her to the North Pole, where he kept her for a whole year. What the? Santa Claus, why would you do that? So this just makes... Also, Santa Claus is just ugly in this one, no offense. No, I get Santa Claus is old, but seriously, what is that? Santa, you need to go to the gym. We go gym? Okay, we go gym. Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey. I freaking hated this special. Like, the songs were horrible. And this is also by Rankin Bass, by the way, so they're not as pure as you think they are. They really dropped the ball on this one. And there's another couple terrible ones, but I think this is just the one that I watched the most when I was a kid. And for some reason, we kept watching it. No matter how much I pleaded, this is just a Rudolph ripoff that's just like so far worse than I could possibly imagine. What I don't understand is that, okay, Nestor is the donkey that took Mary, to Bethlehem to birth Jesus, right? Then why is he not in the Drummer Boy Christmas special made by the same company? So what I'm starting to think is that the donkey that was telling the story of Nestor was just lying so he could feel better about himself. I don't even know what he was doing. He didn't have long ears. It was normal. Let's be proud that it was a mule, you jerk. Man, this is heresy. This is heresy. He's adding stuff that was never there before, so it's heresy. I understand. Christmas specials can be kind of dumb, and you might need a suspension of disbelief for them. But what the... Bro, are you kidding me? A long-eared donkey? What is this, Dumbo? Is he gonna fly? He's gonna fly to Bethlehem? Okay, just turn this off because this is actually horrible. And I'm actually upset that I actually had to think about this again. Let's move on to the last one so we can just get straight to number 1 after this, because, oh my god. Last but certainly not least, Star Wars The Holiday Special. What was going on with this? This didn't make any sense. I really hated this special. This thing was bad. I just don't understand, like, why does Luke look like that? I know Mark Hamill had his car accident, but they did a terrible job with his makeup. The cringe song that Carrie Fisher sings at the end, even though her voice is amazing, it's still garbage. And Chewbacca's family. When did these guys show up? And how come we never saw them again? The Empire killed them. You know what? I hope Darth Vader strangled them himself, because after watching that, I'd be pretty fired up enough to do that. Oh, the Death Star hit Kashyyyk after this. This was horrible. Seriously, why is Luke wearing his farm boy outfit? Why are you guys all wearing your New Hope outfits? Y'all are in the rebellion now. Shouldn't you guys be wearing more like Han Solo style clothing like you guys do in Empire Strikes Back? You know what? I don't care. You guys are terrible at making Christmas specials. George Lucas, I'm sorry, but you should be ashamed of yourself for this one. And I know you are, because you never want to bring it up when people ask you about it. Now, the thing we've all been waiting for, the best Christmas special ever, in my opinion. Charlie Brown Christmas. Yeah, we all knew this one was coming. From starting off, the iconic song that begins Christmas Time is Here, sung by all the Peanuts kids, and as well as Charlie Brown's mood throughout the entire special, being someone who is not a bad person or a Scrooge, and is actually just not excited for Christmas and is just depressed. A very interesting take, and also at the end where Charlie Brown believes everything is ruined because the Christmas tree wasn't good enough. And they all doctor it after giving it a lot of love, and they wish him a Merry Christmas after being a pain in his butt for almost the whole entire special. Charlie Brown is a character that seems to lose quite a lot, but when Charlie Brown stops being comical and saying good grief and he actually finally collapses, all the other characters in the Peanuts gallery come to pick him up and try to cheer him on, which is the reason why I love the Peanuts so much. This was definitely the top pick, and I think this is a lot of people's top picks when it comes to Christmas specials that are family friendly or, just for kids. This is definitely one of the best, if not the best. It is the best in my opinion, and it outbeats Rudolph, The Grinch, all of them. This is the best Christmas special, and if you don't think so, you can shove some eggnog up your ass. Ho 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 everybody! That's the end of this episode of Ranked, and I hope you guys enjoyed the list. Tell me, do you guys agree, or what's your favorite Christmas special? If it wasn't on the list, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share the video, and subscribe to find out other holiday themed videos that are be coming out this month. I'll see you guys later. Merry Christmas.
Oh, you lady, aye, Donner and Blitzen, away, away. Oh, you lady, aye, ho.
I'm Hard Rock.
I'm Coco.
I'm Joe.